She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hey, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Thanks so much for joining us. Hey, how are you surviving the holiday spending hangover? Isn't that an awesome title? Yeah. Are you surviving the holiday spending hangover? Did you opt out of December madness of crazily spending, and then here you are in January looking at that bill going, no, what did I do? Did you opt out of that entire process? Did you learn from years past? Or are you that one right now that is just dreading the mail that is coming or the email that is coming telling you how much you spent in the month of December? Either way, we want to give you some tips today on how to survive the holiday spending hangover. Check this out. This is pretty crazy. One of my coworkers found this statistic. Last week, USA Today released an article saying that U.S. retail holiday sales jumped 4.9%. Biggest jump since 2011. People were feeling rather, I don't know, generous, crazy, nuts, stupid. I don't know, whichever way, whatever category you want to put it in. 4.9% jump since 2011. Like that's pretty big. In fact, the amount, like $680 billion was spent in December. Come on, just 1 second. $680 billion was spent on gifts for people that generally didn't need it in the month of December. What could we have done? Think about it. What could we have done as a people, as a nation? What could have been done towards consumer debt? $680 billion. But listen, it's over. Christmas is over. Some people are like, thank God it's over. Other people are like, man, it was awesome. We had such a great time. Others are like, meh. My kids are spoiled rotten. I wish I didn't get them anything. In fact, there was actually an article written on that just the week before Christmas about some parents are like, I'm opting out. My kids are spoiled rotten brats. They don't deserve anything. They already are just completely not even grateful for what they already have. They're not taking care of anything anyway. Why in the world am I going to stuff more junk under a tree for them to become even more ungrateful? For them to be even more irresponsible with what they already have. Well, listen, here on the Dani Johnson Show, every single day we are bringing you challenging messaging to challenge you to create what your personal definition is for success, right? Success in the family, success at work, success in your finances, for you not to live it according to status quo, but for you to define for you, what does success mean for you? Thus, there's so many different varying positions on the Christmas season. Well, now it's New Year's. It's the first week of January 2018, and what do we have? We have a fresh new slate to start from. So depending on what you did in December, completely determines what your January is going to look like right now. Nonetheless, we got a few tips for you about how you can make January look good no matter what you did in December, all right? So one of the things that I think is really important for us to look at is, how did I get here? It's like really important to do that, right? In order to determine where you're going, you really have to look at where you have come from. So we asked the question to our audience, and we asked somebody to send us a video. We asked a few people to send us a video about what was the biggest amount of money you've ever dropped during the holidays and whether or not you regretted it. So you got to see this. Cameron sent us a video. It's absolutely, it's going to shock you. Actually, you might identify with it. I know I can. Years past, I used to drop money like this during the holidays. Let's go ahead and listen to what Cameron has to say.
After I got back from Iraq, I dropped about 10 grand on stuff for myself and gifts for others. I was unemployed at the time and had no car, and I was living in my parents' home. Not my proudest moment.
Wow! Oh my gosh! Living at his parents' house, does not have a job, just came back from Iraq and dropped 10 grand on himself and his family. I love what he said at the very end, not my proudest moment. That's a humble man, Cameron. I'm so proud of you, man, that you could actually take a video of that and share it with us. This is amazing. But how awesome is this? Cameron no longer is that man. He is no longer. In fact, I don't know if you've seen, we've actually interviewed him in the past where Cameron has paid off over $50,000 worth of debt just in 2017. He actually became a brand new client, went to First Steps to Success, paid off over $50,000 worth of debt, completely restored his marriage, has a new baby on the way in 2017. In fact, I think that baby must be getting born here pretty quickly. Anyway, what an amazing story, right? So listen, okay, so we'll just start right there. Did you do that in December? Did you do what Cameron had done before in the past where he said this was not his proudest moment? So if you did, like you just dropped 10 grand, you're living at home with your parents, you have no job, you're married. By the way, how does someone do that? That's called no financial vision. When you don't have a financial vision, you will spend money wildly. So we asked the question to our Facebook friends, and we asked the question of like, okay, what have you done? Like, have you ever regretted some holiday spending that then puts you in a financial bad position? And or why? Why did you do it? What was the reason? What drove you to that place? Again, you really have to ask yourself that question, because otherwise you just kind of keep going with this habit every single year of putting yourself, in the case with him, $10,000 worth of debt. Other people might have $3,000 worth of debt, $1,000 worth of debt added to the debt that you already had. So how do we fix this? And again, tip number one is you have to identify, what was my motive? Why did I do this? First of all, what did I do? You got to recognize that. What did I do? What did I actually spend during the holidays? Okay. That includes the food, the parties, the clothes that you bought so you can wear at the party. Do you understand? Because maybe the one you wore last year wasn't good enough, or maybe it was a little too small. Either way, whatever it was that justified it, it's really important for you to take a good, solid, honest, sober look at what you did. So let's identify it right now. I want you to write it down. How much did I spend? Maybe you have to go through last month's bank statement. How much did I spend during the holidays? By the way, don't forget the electric bill, because if you decorated your house, that increased your electric bill. If you ended up having more parties, that also increased your electric bill. You probably had the heat on a little more to make all your guests a little more comfortable. When you will actually put on a sweatshirt, they wouldn't. So maybe you heated up the house a little bit more, you entertained a little bit more. So it's all those extra little gas station runs, all the extra errands that you ran. So make sure you count the gasoline that was spent because of all the extra running around that you did, whether it was running to another party or was shopping, right? Or whoops, I forgot a few ingredients. I got to go to the store because I have to make something for the party I'm going to. Oh, wait, what about the kids' parties? Okay, you also had the kids' parties. So again, I want you to see, was there an increase in your electric bill? Was there an increase in gasoline that you spent from all the errands you were running? Was there an increase of spending on clothing, supplies, right? And food, was there an increase spent on food? Was there an increase in spending eating out? Because again, you were so crazy busy. You had the kids running from here and there, right? So all of that increase, right? I want you to add it all up. I want you to add it up right this very minute. I want you to take a good solid look, because you got to know where you're starting from. In order to change habits and to put you on a path of creating wealth, you really got to look at what you actually did. And because Christmas was just last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever, because it's like so fresh. No, it was last week. Because it's so fresh, friend, listen to me. Because it's fresh in your mind, there it is. Oh, yeah, I went there. Oh, yeah, I did this, right? Now we can actually get a more realistic picture so that you can make a good, solid decision actually moving yourself forward. It's a really super important thing to do, all right? So what else can we think about? What else might have increased as a direct result? I think we pretty well covered it. Yeah, I think we did. All right, so Now the second, so again, what did I spend? All right. Now, number 2, you got to ask yourself, why did I do it? Why? What were my motives? What was the point of me doing this? Hey, we asked this question on Facebook, so I want to give you some responses. I thought they were really good. Don, we asked we didn't ask, why she did it, but we're asking why they think people in general do it, okay? And so here she writes this. Well, first of all, she tells us, she goes, we don't have credit cards and we haven't had them for several years. I won't take out a loan for Christmas. By the way, this is Dawn Nelsey. She says, we kept our spending low this year. Next year, we plan on getting ahead in our finances, and I'm planning on making a budget for Christmas. So that actually is a really good tip. Why not have a budget? Set yourself with a minimum. But again, when we say we've got a budget for Christmas, most people are only thinking about the gifts that they're going to be purchasing. You need to include with this budget, again, how do you create the budget? Look at what you spent in every category, friend. All the categories. The gasoline, the electric bill, the clothing, okay, and the gifts. Okay, because you ran around a lot and all of those things increased because you ran around a lot. Also food, how much did the food increase? So how much was spent in excess in the month of December? So you start there. And then let's say it was $1,000 or $2,000, it was much more. So if that being the case, now what you get to do is you get to look at that solid number and go, okay, are we happy with this number? Or could we have done it less? Could we have done something a little different? And that's how you now create the budget, okay? So she said she's planning on creating a budget for next year. And then so we asked her, okay, so why do you think people do this? She says, I think people overspend because Christmas has become the day to give people what they want or have been asking for that they could not afford themselves. I've been guilty of that myself, both receiving and giving. So we go into debt to give it because we feel bad if we don't, despite the fact that most gifts are broken, grown out of, lost interest in over the next few years or when the new latest greatest thing comes out. So isn't that interesting? So we're not actually even thinking ahead. We're actually only purchasing in the moment, not even thinking like, wait a second, this thing's going to break or they're going to grow out of this or they're going to lose interest in it. This doesn't really have any staying power. And so that's how you then create the budget, friend. That's how you do it. You find another way. You find another way to show someone that you love them without maybe spending the money on things that are going to break, they're going to grow out of, or they're going to lose interest in, right? So there's a much cheaper way to do that. In fact, back when I was still sending things out to people, I decided to use my pumpkin bread as a way to say I love you. And it was really inexpensive to make, but oh boy, the messages from everybody that I sent my pumpkin bread to was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. Can I get the recipe? Nope. If I say the recipe, it's not going to be very valuable to you anymore. Anyway, so we're talking about how are you going to survive the holiday spending hangover? How are we not going to make the same mistake again? Or how can we tweak it just a little bit so we're not so hungover with so much debt starting the new year? This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Are you hungover from your Christmas spending binge? Coming up next, Dani has some simple tips for sobering up your checkbook.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
More resources, more training, more results. The DaniJohnson.com Insider Membership is your ultimate success shortcut. Get exclusive access to reports, videos, audios, ebooks, cheat sheets, and other training for your personal and professional life. This is truly DaniJohnson.com's best kept secret. Become an Insider member today and get on the fast track to success.
And I'm so blessed that I found what is in Grooming the Next Generation for Success. This is a book that is being taught in universities around the world. It's been noted as the best book on parenting that has ever been written. Crazy, if you ask me. But the point is that this thing gets results. Get your copy today, 888-757-8880. Again, that's 888-757-8880. Or go to DaniJohnson.com. That's DANI Johnson.com. Get your copy today.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hey, friend. Do you remember when you were young and you ended up doing something that, well, you know, you kind of knew you weren't supposed to do? And what would your mom or dad say to you? Why did you do this? Right? It wasn't that generally. What were you thinking? Come on. Well, I will tell you that I have asked my kids that when I was raising my 5 kids. And I definitely asked that question of my 8 grandchildren when, you know, someone punches somebody or, you know, somebody has a crayon and they decide to take it on the wall. Whatever, you know, you ask the question, okay, would you mind telling me what exactly you were thinking? Do you remember that this was kind of, you know, established ahead of time? This is probably not the best idea. Come on, you know that, right? So I'm asking you that question about this past Christmas. Are you suffering from a holiday spending hangover? Come on, friend. Are you currently bloated, have the headache, feeling like you're gonna hurl after you saw that credit card bill? Are you sitting there going, oh no, what did I do? Right? And again, how are you gonna make sure that you don't do that again next year? Friend, listen, here on the Dani Johnson Show, we care about your finances. In fact, we might even care about your finances more than you do. We are passionate about you becoming debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years, owing nobody nothing, having no mortgage, having no car payments, having no student loans, having no credit card debts, no department store debts, having no plastic debts at all. We want to see you completely financially free and independent. We want to see you being able to travel around the world with the people that you love. We want to see you in such a great financial independence place where you're able to enjoy time off and experiencing life, being able to eat different foods from around the world and having your feet touch on foreign lands that are beautiful, that you've always thought, maybe wondered, could I experience one day. Well, you can't keep doing the same exact things you've been doing all these years in the financial category and expecting your finances to change. You just can't. So how are you going to fix it? You got to ask yourself the question, why did I spend all that money in December? What did I actually spend it on? We want to help clear up the holiday spending hangover today. We're giving some tips today. We've asked the question to our audience. We've asked them to tell us why they think people spend it. Why? Because if you don't know the reason why you do it, you will never change it. So it's the why that drove you to pull out that plastic several times a week. It is that why that caused you to go on Amazon.com and order all of those gifts for all of those people that maybe needed it or maybe didn't need it. It's the why that drove you. So I'm going to read you a couple comments from some people that wrote into us. Amy Baum says, I believe it's a lack of self-control. It's selfishness and trying to make up for relational lack. Ouch. Sting. Ooh. Painful. Painful. Come on, think about it. Is that you? Man, I can tell you that was definitely me some good 2 decades ago. that I lacked in relationships. Big time. I really was lame with relationships. And I had a stepfather who used to try to buy my love. And in him trying to buy my love, he would buy my love through gifts. Yep, seriously. You know, he was violently abused, he molested, he emotionally and mentally abused also, and he would try to make up for it by buying gifts. Therefore, gifts for me personally have been a painful thing. They've not been a welcoming thing. But I can tell you that because I lacked in relationship, I wanted to show people how much I appreciated them, so I'd buy them expensive things. And of course, this is long after I was a homeless woman. This is long after I started a successful company. But the point was that I did not have a financial plan for myself or anyone else for that matter. So therefore, I was trying to make up for what I lacked and literally trying to buy people's love and trying to buy their acceptance. So I want you to evaluate you. If you're waking up today or this first week in January with a holiday spending hangover, friend, you literally got to look at yourself and say, why did I do it? Am I trying to buy people's love? Or am I afraid that I won't be loved if I don't spend money on them? Come on, you got to get to the bottom line with it. Get underneath the surface. Don't use, well, it's Christmas, that's what you're supposed to do. No, there are so many different ways to celebrate Christmas, and there's so many other more beautiful ways to appreciate the human beings that are in your life. Hello, think about it. There are so many more ways to do it. So planning for 2018, you got to feel the hangover you're feeling right now, creating a budget for next year, making some new decisions. That's what we're talking about today. We want to see you succeed in 2018, especially in the finance and family category. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Be sure to tell a friend about the Dani Johnson Show. It just might be the key to the breakthrough they need. Stay right here for more of the Dani Johnson Show.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your freedom, your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First Steps to Success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
So 4 years ago in July, we showed up to our first Dani Johnson event, our first Steps to Success. And we were completely desperate in every area of our life. At the time, I thought it was just because of our finances, but then I figured out pretty quickly that it was because of my lack of people skills that we were where we were. We sat in the front row. We got fast track, and we sat in the front row right in the center next to some amazing people because we were so hungry, so desperate, so broken, and I pretty much cried through the entire event, honestly. And when she did the War on Debt, which she will show you, this afternoon, I went back immediately and got it. She had just started talking. I heard a couple stories, and I was like, if they can do it, I know we can do it. So we went back and got it and listened to it on the way home in the car, because we drove from Michigan all the way to Missouri. So we listened to it in the car, and when we got home, we immediately got our papers out. We wrote down our plan, and we started applying it. And within 14 months, we paid off over $62,000 worth of debt. We never in a million years thought that was possible. There's so much that has happened in the last 4 years, and I'm the person that wants the results immediately. I don't like the process of getting there. I want to just get there. But I've learned to appreciate the process over the last 4 years, and just seeing the transformation that has happened in us. Personally, we individually experienced different things, and we experienced a lot of things together. I was paying our bills. I was completely disrespectful to my husband and didn't really know how bad it actually was. And so that part of our life is still improving. I can say we're a work in progress. It takes time, and we have grown so much.
We showed up. My wife, I didn't know this at the time, but she was battling thoughts of suicide. I had no idea. I thought I was being a perfectly good husband. I did my best to serve her, be a great guy. But what she needed was somebody who would step up and be a leader in our marriage. That's not who I was. And I was totally emasculated, physically emasculated by, there was someone in our church, the pastor, and so we felt the brokenness of a church, having to leave and just hurt, and devastated. One of the biggest breakthroughs started in our marriage is when Lucy started being a wife to me. And I, as a leader, I should step up, right? Take action first, be the initiator. She did it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a completely different person. And I can tell you, our marriage has just, it's amazing the difference between her feeling suicidal, me stepping down as a leader, to me taking the initiative and just looking her in the eyes and saying, honey, thank you for allowing me to be your leader. And she just melts every time. This is awesome. So. So let me just tell you this, guys. If you're struggling, or you're broke, you're wondering what your next step is, hey, just take action. Follow those notes that you just took. Take action and do it, because your story is going to be here, and people are going to be inspired by your story. So are you all ready to take notes? All right, let's do this. Help me welcome Miss Dani Johnson, America's favorite millionaire, to the stage.
What multimillionaire do you know that volunteers their time to help ordinary people like you and me? There's only one. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
If you're feeling guilty about the spending that happened last month, friend, sitting there feeling guilty is not going to fix it. Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We're talking about how to recover from the holiday spending hangover. Are you bloated? Is your head pounding? Are your eyes bloodshot? Are you moving really slow right now? And it's all due to all the crazy amount of spending, from the parties to the gift giving. It's the holiday spending hangover. How do we fix it? Feeling guilty isn't going to fix it, but actually diving deeper and asking yourself the question of, why did I do it? How did I end up here? And how do I make sure I not do this next year? We wanted to give you tips today on how you can recover, to never perhaps make the same, to never repeat the past, but to create a brand new future moving forward. One of the things I wanted to share with you, and this is very interesting, is again, in order to determine where you want to go, largely you got to look about where you're at and how you got there. So this is where many people are finding themselves right now. A study that CNBC had done, this is going to be shocking to you. They actually published an article last November about the fact that 24% of all adults ages 18 to 34, which is what people call the millennial category, which millennials hate being called millennials, but 24% of them hadn't even paid off last year's Christmas debt. So they had not even paid off 2016's Christmas debt yet. Friend, are you hearing me? And yet here was 2017 and they're racking up more debt. Check this out. 16% of the Gen Xers, which are ages 35 to 50, and then 8% is what 8% of the population of the baby boomers that were still paying off 2016's Christmas debt in 2017. So here now, look, if those same, so that's like 48% of the population, okay, of the study, 48% of them had not even paid off 2016's Christmas debt yet off. They hadn't paid that off yet. And now they were getting ready to use that credit card for 2017 Christmas. So that's 2 years of Christmas debt that's being paid. Now, again, most people are just doing this because they're not paying attention. They're not really realizing what they're doing. So my job here today, here on the Dani Johnson Show, is helping you to define success for you. Do you think that's success? Come on, friend. Is that living a life of success? Well, society is telling you the way to be accepted by your friends is to buy them gifts during Christmas. Society is telling you that you're a bad person if you are not giving gifts. In fact, this ticks me off. I had a conversation with my brother. Oh, this really makes me mad. Had a conversation with my brother. I was driving back from the airport, and I just was checking up on my younger brother. He's 31 years old. He's a single dad. He's got a beautiful daughter, Kaylee, who is autistic. He's the most amazing father I've ever seen. I mean, literally the most amazing father I've ever seen. And so I was talking to him. I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" Actually, it was actually on Christmas Eve. "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I'm over at da-da-da's house, and so how's it been going through the holiday season?" And he says, we don't do gifts. So we don't do the whole Christmas stuff. And I'm like, wow, really? I go, we don't either. And he's like, really? I said, yeah. He's going to be moving here to Texas, so we're going to be living. I said, great. You'll never be under that pressure during December when you're around us. He's like, oh my gosh. He goes, I am so grateful to hear that. I said, yeah, we've not done that for like 2 decades or more. And I said, how come you don't? He goes, because it's just nothing but marketing, Dani. He says, it's not when Jesus was born. Jesus wasn't born in December. He says, this is just like some fabricated thing. And I said, it gets deeper than that. Do some research. So nonetheless, I thought it was really interesting. He's 31 years old. He's got a daughter. And he says, we just opt out. Like, he said, we don't do that. He says, we believe in Jesus. We love Jesus, but we don't do that. And he says, and he goes, and the family has branded me as the Grinch as a direct result. That made me so mad. See, look at this divide and conquer, right? The Grinch character being created to put all of those in the Grinch category that choose to opt out of going into debt and being drawn into the crazy amount of spending and pressure and obligation and being manipulated into buying things for people that maybe didn't need them. It's a whole different story if you're going to give things to people who actually need them, but by all means, do not go into debt to do that. You don't have to go into debt to do that. You can actually save all 12 months out of the year, putting money in an envelope called Christmas that you can put aside for all the extra things that you want to do, whether it's going to parties, it's making food, or it is giving gifts to people who don't need them or giving gifts to people that do need them. But look at how our society has created these two types of people. You're a Grinch if you don't participate. You're a Grinch if you don't have Christmas lights. You're a Grinch if you don't have a Christmas tree. You're ruining it for everybody else. How sad. Look at that extra added pressure and crazy amount of judgment. I don't even want to talk to you about how I felt on Christmas Day for that same exact reason. First comment, oh, you don't have a Christmas tree? Nope. Haven't had one in a long time. If you would like to set it up and pay for it and pay the electric bill, be my guest. Go for it. Knock yourself out. But we just don't do that. And nobody in our family needs anything. The people who need something are the orphans, the sick, and the widow. And yes, we took care of those people. Paid electric bills, bought clothes, right? Helped to pay for some schooling, helped to buy some food. Those are the things that we choose to do, not just in December, but every month of the year. So nonetheless, you got to look at what your motives were, which is what we've been talking about, so that you can establish a plan for next year, that you're not going to be like these 48% of the people that were surveyed that had not even paid off 2016's Christmas debt off yet. Now they were adding new debt for 2017 Christmas. And I think if we all sat down with our families and talked about it and said, hey, listen, man, I got about $30,000 worth of debt. We're going to kind of opt out this year and try to do some financial responsibility instead. Hope you don't hate me, but we're just going to kind of focus on paying off our debt, which I love. Check this out. There are some people who actually did this. In fact, Ashley Johnson, she wrote this to us on our Facebook page. She says, my husband and I have never gotten each other gifts for Christmas. In lieu of a honeymoon, we actually bought a boat. 10 years later, we upgraded the boat, skipped the gifts, and saved for a big ticket item that you always have wanted. Plus, you can create many family memories for the years to come. Many people actually opted, instead of buying gifts for people last Christmas, they actually opted for creating experiences. And like this case, creating experiences in the case with the boat. That's something they've always wanted, worked towards it, bought it, now they get to experience it. So maybe that's something that you think about for next year, right? Think about for next year. Maybe we put it in a budget. And again, get an envelope, put some cash in it every single month, however much cash that you save, or do this. Pay cash at the grocery store. Whatever change you have left over, save that change. Save all the change, the loose dollar bills, save that for next December so that nothing goes on your credit card. So again, here on the Dani Johnson Show, we promised you some tips about how you can recover from the holiday spending hangover. How are you going to do that? Number one, you got to look at what you did. Number two, why you did it. And if any part of it is emotional manipulation, or any part of it has to do with all the marketing that was done, emotional manipulation, like what? Feeling guilty, feeling obligated. If it was done for that, that ain't worth going into debt, friend. That's actually crazy. Don't do that. Okay, and or the Grinch story. Someone's gonna put you in a Grinch category. Next year, show up to the party, dress as the Grinch, and make a laugh out of it and say, well, this Grinch is taking care of the poor instead, or this Grinch cares about financial independence for myself, my family, and all of you. So please don't be buying me anything, and I'm not buying you something. None of us need anything. So if you wanna call that a Grinch, I call that financial wisdom instead. So listen, bottom line is that you got to find out how other people are doing it and do the opposite. So as you make your plan for next year to not do what you did this past 2017 Christmas, okay, have some things in there like that. Okay, here's another one. I think this is awesome. We got Andrea Delane that says, I think people overspend because we feel good about it in the moment. And it's a way to express our love. So we think, she says, that's how we've been marketed to. So tell me, come on, think about how were you marketed to? And will you allow yourself to be manipulated by that marketing again? Come on, look at everything that you spent. Look at the real cost that you and the family have paid. What's the real cost that was paid for Christmas? Did you and your spouse fight over how much was being spent? Did it cause division inside of your household? Did you feel all the pressure? Did you lose sleep at night over it? Was it worth it? Was it worth it? If it wasn't worth it, why do it again? Why do it again? So set up a plan. Set up a plan for yourself. Make some new decisions. You decide. You live your life by design, not by default. Don't live according to what society says success is for Christmas. Don't even go there. You can be wise. You can be smart by pulling out of all of the crazy manipulation for next year. I want you to feel the hangover today. Feel the hangover from all the spending. Feel the hangover from what your choices were, because it's in feeling that pain that causes you to make a new decision moving forward. It really does. That's what it did for us. Man, my heart would race at what? The pressure in December, and then my heart would skip beats, pound outside of my chest. And then one year was like, I can't do this again. I'm not doing this again. In fact, I'm not going to let anyone else do this. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Are you ready to take back control of your holidays, or are you just going to live up to everyone else's expectations? Dani will show you how to set your own ground rules next.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. The most common question I get usually are from people who are trying to juggle their life. They've got kids who are involved in all kinds of activities. They've got business or their job, finances, trying to get out of debt, plus all their church activities and all the volunteer activities. And they're pulling their hair out going, how do I juggle this all? Man, I once lived just like that until I learned Time Secrets. Time Secrets showed me how to be able to cut my hours from 100 hours a week that I was working down to 20 hours a week and tripled my income as a direct result with what I learned. Time Secrets also showed me how to get my priorities in order, which healed up my marriage. And I became a mother that I was proud of versus becoming the mother I didn't want to be. And so if you feel like your world is running around in all kinds of different circles, you can fix that. Call 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880 for Time Secrets.
Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First Steps to Success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
My name is Andres and I'm from Latvia. Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was a struggling English teacher back home. I had a language school that I started when I was 21 and had grown it to be pretty okay in my city. But at the same time, I had acquired a debt of $60,000. In a matter of 8 to 9 months, I got rid of my debt. And by 2011, we had our first $1 million year. This has been amazing. We grew our school from about 100 students to 2,000 students. And I can only highly recommend for you to come to the next event and be part of this community and learn the tools that will help you to succeed.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, my family and I were hemorrhaging under the pressures of debt. Since attending First Steps to Success in January of 2014, my family and I have paid off over $147,000 in 19 months. We're completely consumer debt free. We have restored relationships, and our business is growing at a rate of 15% at every event. Your next step is to sign up for the next First Steps to Success and start creating your own story.
My name is Jeff Conyers, and prior to First Steps to Success, I was a struggling business owner. I had discovered that my business account went negative $5,000, and I realized that I did not have a business plan and I needed to do something. Fast forward to 1 year after, I have now created, just by implementing the tools at First Steps to Success, over $50,000, created another business, improved my personal and business relationships. Man, it's like the story is forever changing, and it just gets better and better. I don't know about you or what you're going through, but I would highly recommend getting to First Steps to Success.
Prior to plugging into First Steps to Success, we were drowning under a mountain of debt. We were heading to divorce court. We had failing businesses and toxic relationships. Since plugging into First Steps to Success, our marriage has been restored. We have paid off over $56,000 in 11 months. We've helped our community pay off over $300,000 in 14 months. My business has grown in over 600% in 4 months. And for the first time, I could say I'm just loving life. I have great relationships. So if you are fine where you are, then this event is not for you. But if you're ready to reach your goal and to change your life, then I highly recommend that you get registered for the next event.
Hi, my name is Jill Kearns. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. Prior to coming to First Steps to Success, my husband and I were struggling financially and were hurting in our relationship a lot. We needed more time together, and we just were struggling with that because of the finances. And so since plugging in, we've actually paid off over $280,000 in debt. We're completely debt-free, and more than anything else, the look on my husband's face of relief and excitement about where our future lies, and the traveling and the fun, enjoyable times that we'll get to spend together as a family is totally worth it. So if you want to have better relationships with your significant other, your children, if you have a desire to be completely debt-free and released from that bondage for whatever reason, whatever the burdens are, your next step is to get to First Steps to Success right now.
So prior to getting started to DaniJohnson.com, I was a college dropout. I was working a bottom of the barrel type job. I started plugging into her training. I've skyrocketed through the ranks of corporate America. I've tripled my income in the last 5 years. That's all fine and dandy, but it wasn't, there's a part of me that had a part missing. So I ended up using Dani's prospecting skills, and I ended up meeting the love of my life. Since then, we've paid off $32,000 of debt since October 2014. So get here now. This is the greatest thing ever. You have to see this. The skills and strategies Dani teaches are unbelievable. They totally took someone like me with no education and helped me just like multiply my efforts. So you need to be here.
If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do with your life? Discover your own answer. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Dani, there's no way I can not do the same thing next year. Yes, you can, friend. Are you suffering from the holiday spending hangover? Hello. Think about it. I did that for so many years, and then finally I was like, no mas, I'm out. I cannot do this any longer. And you can make the same decisions. And guess what? You'll end up with an army of other people that are doing the same thing with you. Yes, you will. Now there'll be some that'll be against you. So what? That's life. Anytime you're going to have success in anything, you're always going to have somebody that's going to be against you. Sometimes it's some of your family. Oh well, it's not going to be the first time, and it's certainly not going to be the last time. So if they're going to be against you, let them be against you for something that actually matters. And this matters. Your financial freedom, you and your spouse not fighting, your kids not being spoiled, rotten brats any longer. This is worth it. What is the holidays really all about? You get to decide. What do you want it to be about? What do you want it to mean? What kind of memories do you want to create? So here's my last tip. Maybe there'll be another one. What should you do? Tonight, have a family meeting. Pull the family together and have a meeting. And debrief how December went. Debrief the holidays. Sit down with them and say, hey, I would like to know how you feel the holidays went for us as a family. What things would you like to see different? Let's already start planning for 2018, because here is the real cost of what this past Christmas costed us. So show them. Pull out the bills. Show them, this is how much more we spent in gasoline running all over town and to all the parties. This is how much we spent in extra electric bills from the lights. Yeah, the lights, the decorations. This is how much we spent in decorations. This is how much we spent on food, extra food, above our normal budget. And this is how much debt was created for us as a family in the month of December. And based on our current plan, this is how many years it's going to take us to pay it off. So we want you guys to have the real picture so that we can decide moving forward as a family, was it worth it? So go to each family member and say, I want you to give me 3 highlights, 3 things that meant the most to you in the month of December. You'll be pretty surprised at what they might say. In fact, you might be completely shocked, and it might have nothing to do with something that they got. It might be the family gatherings. It might be the time spent with specific family members. It might be something that you maybe never even thought about. So when you hear the 3 things that mattered the most to them personally, let each one, even the 2-year-old, try to express something. But have a family meeting, have a family debrief about what happened in December. And then say, what are 3 things that you really didn't like, that you didn't appreciate? 3 things that you would like, and if you want to reword it this way, 3 things that you would like to see made better, or 3 things that you could do without in the month of December, okay? And let them speak freely and honestly about it. Write everything down that you hear, and then let the family vote on, hey, let's decide today what we want December to look like next year. And would all of you be open to us not going into debt as a family in the month of December? Ask them that. So did we need to go to all the parties? No, let's just cherry pick and decide on the 2 most important parties that we go to, or the 3 most important parties that we'll go to, right? Just look for little places where we can be flexible as a family, where we can make these slight little adjustments, so that what? So that you are deciding as a family what you want that holiday to look like. And you as a family can decide we're not going into debt. So then you can also look at, okay, guys, we got 12 months before the next Christmas comes. So let's decide how much we want to spend. And let's also look at where we're willing to cut so that we can spend it in the month of December. Bottom line is, there's only so much money every single month, right? So, okay guys, let's look for other ways throughout this year of how we can increase our income little by little things that we can do. Like, I'll give you this example. I had a guy deliver wood to my house today. He leaves me a gift wrapped in foil. Yes, they were tamales, homemade, and said, here you go. I'm like, oh, Tamales. We're talking about like terrible weakness. One of my favorite foods. Yeah, he and his wife started making tamales to make a little bit of extra money. And now he's selling tamales. They sold 60 dozen tamales in the month of December to do what? Of course, to create a Christmas budget. He obviously filled a need amongst his friends and family members and clients that he has by making these tamales and making them available. And hello, they sold tamales, they made extra money. So those are some things that maybe the family could do. What is the family good at making? What do they want to get good at making? How many of these things do they want to sell on a monthly basis? And that all goes into the Christmas budget. Hey, here's another thing, and this is what we used to do with our family. Instead of gifts, we did experiences. The experiences were twofold. Like, for example, one year, we put money aside to take the kids to Hawaii. Now, mind you, Hawaii is where my husband and I met. Hawaii is where my husband grew up. So this was going to see family. Thank God it's Hawaii. And it wasn't like, I'm not going to say it because you'll get all offended, like Kansas or Michigan or something where it's freezing cold. So it's December. We want to take the kids to go see family. We're not doing gifts, but instead we're going to find the poorest of poor on the big island of Hawaii that we can show up unannounced and bring gifts to, right? So we had a 2-week vacation in Hawaii, and then we had planned this early on, and we said, okay, guys, what do you guys think of this? And so that's what we did. So we delivered gifts. We went shopping there for the poor. We delivered the gifts to the extreme poor, and then and we had our family vacation. And so maybe talk to the family about that in the family meeting, that guys, what if we create an experience? Maybe we go to a different place, and maybe we go and take care of those who are actually in need, right? And the other thing too, in this family meeting, tell the kids, like, guys, we can't keep adding all this junk to our house. Like, we're busting at the seams. Go through, and I want you to pick out everything that you haven't played with in the last month, or everything that you haven't worn in the last month. Let's create a whole bunch of boxes, and there's shelters all over our city of little boys and girls of the same age and size that you are, that have the same interests that you do, but they have nothing. Let's pack all this stuff up and let's bring it to those who are actually in need. Get your kids starting to experience that, and you can start it right now. Yes, the first week in January. This is how you can start clearing up the holiday spending hangover, friend. We want to see your family become financially independent. We want to see your children groomed for financial success instead of being groomed for financial failure, of being marketed to and becoming spoiled, rotten brats who are ungrateful, who lose interest in something that's very expensive, and they don't even realize that dollar that it took to buy, and how many of those dollars it actually took to buy those things. So, in your family debrief, come on, you can do this. In that family debrief, start dreaming together as a family. Start dreaming. Start deciding what December means to you guys as a family. And as the family debriefs, you'll get that. You guys will get that picture as you're drawing the comments of what mattered most to them, what they liked the least, what they would like to see different. And out of that, there's going to be a vision, a dream for the family that's going to be birthed. And then that creates the dream and the vision about how you guys will live out this year, what the plan will be, how much money do we need to be able to make that happen. And we're not going into debt. We're standing against debt as a family, and we want to go create these experiences. How can we start this week in doing that? Now here comes a plan. Here comes a financial plan. Here comes a family plan to live out 2018 with amazingness. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Helping you become all you were meant to be. Stay right here for more of the Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
More resources, more training, more results. The DaniJohnson.com Insider Membership is your ultimate success shortcut. Get exclusive access to reports, videos, audios, ebooks, cheat sheets, and other training for your personal and professional life. This is truly DaniJohnson.com's best kept secret. Become an Insider member today and get on the fast track to success.
Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
Did you know you can take the Dani Johnson Show with you wherever you go? It's never been easier to stay up to date with the latest content from Dani with the DaniJohnson.com app. Watch or listen in the car, at the gym, or on the go. Download it now from the App Store and Google Play and never miss a show again. Your family, business, and bank account will thank you. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do with your life? Discover your own answer. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
So there you have it, friend. Take these simple little steps, and you can clear up the holiday spending hangover and never have one again. Instead of waking up January 1st with that horrible hangover, instead of that first week just feeling so guilty and heavy laden by all the bills that you know are about to pile in on top of you, you now have a solution just from today's show. Listen, friend, somebody else you know needs to see this. Help to prevent a divorce in 2018. Help to prevent spoiled, rotten kids who are dissatisfied with everything that is around them because the parents just keep trying to fill a hole, the wrong hole. Help by sharing today's show. How? You can send the link in an email, a text. Just go to the website, DaniJohnson.com. Again, that's DaniJohnson.com. Copy the link, send it in a text or an email, as well as share it on Facebook. You know, there's someone that you know, or at least that you've accepted their friend request. There's even someone that is following you on Twitter or Instagram. There could be even someone that is subscribed to your YouTube channel that you don't know or that you are an acquaintance of, that today's message has the potential to send them on a financial independence path. It could take them out of poverty. It could add purpose to their life. It could actually save their family. Just by this last segment where we talked about having that family meeting, that last segment of drawing out of everybody in the family what really matters to them and designing a successful life for them. What does success look like for this family? Instead of living life according to status quo and being over-marketed and ended up bloated and heartbroken, you can design your life for you and the family's life. You can help someone else do the same by sharing the video. So please share this in your social media platforms. Please send it out in an email or a text. And also, please let us know if today helped you. We want to hear from you. We also would want to hear what other content that you would like to see that you feel is going to help you. And by the way, if this is your first time joining us, we love to give you a gift to start off your new year. First Steps to Wealth. Dial the phone number 866-760-8255. Again, that's 866-760-8255. Tell them that this is your first time seeing the show and you'd like to get the free copy of First Steps to Wealth. You pay the shipping to get it to your house, and we would be happy to send you the $15 book. What a great way to start your year off right. If you go to DaniJohnson.com, you can download, a digital copy. You can download the digital copy right now. Again, that is First Steps to Wealth. There's a number of other tools that you're going to find there at DaniJohnson.com, not to mention the daily television show that airs all over television throughout the country and on radio throughout the country, like Real Terrestrial Radio and Real Cable Television. You can download the show off of our website or on YouTube. And don't forget, we've got a podcast. Other than that, that's it for us today. God bless you. Have a great rest of the day.
If this episode was an encouragement to you, go to DaniJohnson.com and share it with your friends now. You never know who else needs to hear it. This has been The Dani Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.